AFR Talk.
Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. You are listening to Focal Point, the home of muscular Christianity on conservative talk radio. Looking here at a piece, this is not where I want to go in this segment, but just want to open with this. I'm just kind of leafing through a piece from the New York Times by Thomas B. Edsall talking about 2016. And to me, this is a piece that indicates it's way too soon for us to be throwing in the towel when it comes to the political fortunes of the conservative cause. This is a 4-page piece in which he argues that the chances are actually quite good that the Republicans could wind up in 2016 with control of the White House, the House of Representatives, and the United States Senate. Now, this guy's a liberal. This Thomas B. Edsall, this guy's a liberal. He writes for the New York Times, and he says, look, I think that is... there are a number of hypotheticals out there that could lead to Republican victory in 2016. One of them is if Hillary Clinton chooses not to run. He thinks that that's going to hurt the Democratic cause. I'm not sure that I'm seeing that. I mean, there is a lot of unhappiness out there in the Democratic Party with Hillary Clinton. You had the New York Times, Edsall's own paper, doing that huge expose of the global Clinton initiative and all of the cronyism and the graft and the corruption and the huge amounts of money that are being funneled through there, a lot of it being wasted. You've got a number of Democrats coming out saying critical things about Hillary Clinton. So I am not sure at all that in the Democrat side of the ledger, there is this 100% love fest with Hillary Clinton. But Edsall's point, and I think this was a good one, if it's not Hillary, who would it be? I mean, all they have after Hillary are second-tier candidates. That's Edsall's term, but I think that's a good term. That's all they've got are second-tier candidates after Hillary. And then he says, look, discontent with Obamacare could continue to grow, and I think this is extremely likely. In fact, I think the closer we get to the rollout here, the worse, absolutely the worse things get for Obamacare and for the Democrats that are still trying to prop this up. President Obama has actually hired Bill Clinton. I wonder if I can find that soundbite, Rob. I got a soundbite in here with Clinton. It's down the list here because I've had it in the queue here for a couple days. Maybe I might have eliminated. Oh, yeah, clip 15. See if you can find clip 15. The Obama hiring Clinton. This is an interesting deal to me because this is a sign of desperation for Barack Obama. Last thing in the world he wants to do, I will flat out guarantee you the last thing in the world he wants to do is to depend upon Bill Clinton for anything. It's not, there's not a lot of harmony when the Clintons and the Obamas go out for a picnic. It's not a pretty picture. You know, the Clintons feel like Barack Obama basically stole the birthright from Hillary. She was destined to be the president in 2008. Obama came and snatched the rug, ran out from under them. So they really don't like each other very much. I mean, they'll put on a happy face for political reasons, but behind the scenes, it's not good there. And so President Obama, I'm going to play this clip for you. This is Chuck Todd going back to last week, talking about the fact that Barack Obama has hired Bill Clinton to flack for Obamacare. Now, the way to read this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a sign of absolute and total desperation on Barack Obama's part. He knows he's got Chernobyl care here. He knows he's got this flaming train wreck. He knows the problems, the huge number of problems with the implementation of Obamacare. He can read Aetna, the third largest insurance company in the country, has pulled out of the state of New York completely. They're not even going to sell individual insurance plans in the New York market, despite the fact that they're expecting almost 1 million new health insurance purchasers in New York. So there's a market of 1 million people, and you would think that health insurance companies would be climbing all over each other to get at that market, 1 million customers. Aetna saying there's no way we can make money. This thing is over-regulated. It is over-mandated. There's no way in the world that we can make money on this deal. We are just pulling out. And they said, look, it's for competitive reasons. We are not going to be able to compete. This is going to hurt us if we try to sell individual insurance in New York under these mandates and these regulations, these paperwork requirements, all this rigmarole. We are going to lose money. We can't compete. We can't stay healthy. We wouldn't be serving our shareholders if we tried to sell insurance in the New York market. So they're out of here. So Barack Obama, he can read the newspaper just like everybody else is, and so he knows that people are jumping ship right and left. So, and here's what I'm getting to, and then I'll play the soundbite. Mark Pryor is a Democrat in Arkansas. This goes to what happens to the United States Senate in 2016. Mark Pryor is a Democrat. He's in Arkansas, which went very heavily for Mitt Romney in 2012, so he knows that the ice under his feet's pretty thin. So President Obama has hired Bill Clinton to go deliver this speech at the Bill Clinton library and massage parlor there in Little Rock or wherever it is. It's going to be a big, giant speech on behalf of Obamacare. And Mark Pryor, who voted for Obamacare and is from the state of Arkansas, he's not going to be anywhere near that puppy. He doesn't want to be within 100 miles of that speech because he knows it's toxic. He knows it's radioactive. The more you are linked to Obamacare, the worse your chances are of being reelected. So anyway, here is Chuck Todd and his piece on Barack Obama hiring Bill Clinton.
We can report to you first here, right on the Daily Rundown, that former President Bill Clinton is being tapped to deliver a major policy speech on behalf of the White House, defending and explaining the health care law, the Affordable Care Act. He'll do so at his presidential library in Little Rock, Arkansas next Wednesday, 1 week from today. President Obama once dubbed President Clinton the Secretary of Explaining Stuff. He actually had another word at the time, but stuff is what's been quoted. And that's what the White House hopes Bill Clinton will do when it's at just the 1 month mark before the healthcare marketplaces open up. And think about the setting for Bill Clinton's health care speech on September 4th. Yes, it's at his library in Little Rock, Arkansas, but Arkansas. If somehow he can sway the Arkansas electorate, his former home, about health care, and it ends up saving Mark Pryor's Senate seat, that's where you see how the politics of all this falls and why the White House believes they need Bill Clinton to do this.
Well, that's interesting to me because what Chuck Todd is saying, hey, President Obama believes they need Bill Clinton to do this to save Mark Pryor's Senate seat. I don't think Barack Obama, he couldn't care less about Mark Pryor's Senate seat. He's worried about Obamacare taking him and his legacy completely down the tubes. If this was about saving Mark Pryor's seat, if that's the motive here, if that's the big picture, why is Mark Pryor going to make a point not to be anywhere near that speech when it happens? So anyway, let's go back to the Thomas Edsall piece on 2016. He thinks it'd be a benefit if Hillary Clinton doesn't run. Number two, he thinks the possibility of public discontent with Obamacare could continue to grow. You know, young voters are going to hate this thing. They don't even know it's coming down the pike. They don't even know it's coming down the rails. They are clueless. 43% of the people who are now uninsured and would be ordered to buy insurance under the individual market, under the individual mandate. And remember, there's no waiver on that. IRS just came out with all the rules yesterday. The individual mandate is in force. 43% of the uninsured in America have absolutely no idea. They are clueless that Obamacare is even the law of the land. They do not know that they have to buy insurance or face a penalty from Barack Obama. They don't know. And the ones that do know, the young people, the 18 to 34, they say, look, it makes no sense for me to buy Obamacare, to buy health care, because my premiums are going to be much higher than the penalty. It's going to cost me $95 if I don't get insurance. I'm young. I'm healthy. I'm going to be buying an insurance policy I don't need, I won't use. I can use that money to help start a business. I can use it to pay rent. I can use it to put in the bank and save for some kind of medical emergency. So they're, and when they find out, some of them are going to say, I'm content to pay the fine. A lot of folks, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of folks aren't going to know anything about the individual mandate till they get a bill in the mail from the IRS. And they'll say, what is this? Well, you're obligated to buy insurance. Well, nobody told me that, because they're clueless. I mean, they're bopping along, skateboarding and watching the VMAs on TV and listening to their iPods and, you know, playing on their Xbox. And going to movies and working their part-time jobs. They are clueless. And realize how many more people are going to be in the individual market. We are reading stories every single day about more and more companies cutting back, cutting workers, letting workers go, cutting hours down to below 30. Why? So they aren't obligated to offer insurance. All of those people, and they're growing by the day, they're all going to have to buy insurance on the individual market. So they're being aced out of their employer-provided health insurance. Now they're going to have to go on the individual market where the cost is going to be absolutely astronomical. I told you about that New Jersey deal where the most popular policy in the state of New Jersey, 100,000 people are going to get kicked off of that thing. It's going to be illegal as of January 1, and their premiums are going to go up 300 to 400%. People have no idea what's going to hit them. And it's the people that are the most vulnerable, who are young, who are single, who are just starting out in their lives, have young families. They're the ones that are going to be hit absolutely the hardest. So the third thing he says that could contribute to a Republican win in 2016 is that employment continues to lag. More people drop out of the workforce. And I've got a story today that there's an all-time record now of people, the labor force participation rate. This is the number of people that could be working. They are working age. The number of people who are not in the labor force. They're not working. They're not even looking for work is now at 90 million. People that could work. They're old enough to work. They're healthy enough to work. They're not even in the market. They've just dropped out altogether. So the labor force participation rate is at an all-time low. And this guy, so look, if that continues, that's bad for the Democrats. And then I love this. The fourth thing he says that could lead to a Republican victory in 2016. And here's what I'd like to hear from you about. 888-589-8840 is the number to call, 888-589-8840. This guy, Thomas Etzer, writing for the New York Times, he says, look, the way the Republicans win in 2016 is if the Republican primary electorate does not nominate Ted Cruz or Rand Paul, and instead picks Jeb Bush or another mainstream nominee. So this guy's saying, look to the Republicans. If you want to win the White House, like this guy cares. I mean, this is the thing that cracks me up, is these liberals out there, they pretend to care about the fortunes of the Republican Party. Hey, if you guys want to win the White House, don't you dare nominate Rand Paul or Ted Cruz. And I want to get your take on that. Do you think that would be, if the Republican Party nominated a Ted Cruz or Rand Paul, is that a liability or an asset heading into 2016? Back in 2.